Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Ben Shalom here in Manchester, just a couple of days away now from Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. Excitement building, ready for it?
Really excited. Feels like it's been forever. Obviously, it was going on forever even before we got involved. So, yeah, it's good when the fights actually happen that the fans want to see, that we want to see. When they happen, it's a relief. And to be 2 days away now, and no one still knows who's going to win. It's a big occasion with a lot on the line, like a serious amount on the line. Given where the heavyweight division is at now, given the money involved, given the opportunities, this is a big fight.
Given how unpredictable the top of the heavyweight division is, as you say, with Usyk, and we don't really know what's going to go on with Fury after or even before necessarily the Joshua fight, this could have big implications just 6, maybe 12 months down the line.
100%. Look, the winner becomes the mandatory for, at the moment, Alexander Usyk's WBO world title. So that's a huge, huge thing. It's a lot of money on the line for both of them. Joseph Parker feels like this was a perfect time. He said when he signed with us, people thought that was because he didn't want the Joe Joyce fight. That was because he wanted the Joe Joyce fight. He just needed it on terms that he felt were appropriate, and he felt that he could continue his career and be well looked after. And that's, again, no disrespect to any team. He wanted this fight, and he's got this fight, and he's got it at the perfect time for him because he's in a different headspace, different physical condition to he's ever been. I've spoken to him about camps before now, and when he was with Kevin Barry and what he used to do, and like he was not committed to the sport, he was not professional at times. He still became world champion, he still had massive fights. Now he's dedicated. Now he's got Andy Lee where they're working on things with the Fury camp all the time. He's improving to the point where I think we'll see a completely different Joseph Parker to what we've seen before. So he's ready, and that's what's exciting for being his promoter.
When you look back early in his career, he had some really big opportunities so early on, much like Joe Joyce is having now, really. Do you feel like Joseph Parker will look back at those opportunities and he'll be able to take things from them into this fight on Saturday?
Yeah, that's the thing. He's 30 years old, but he's a veteran in the sense that you've got a 37-year-old with not much experience, with not much understanding of the professional game at that level, versus a 30-year-old who's fresh, but has been world champion, has been in there with Anthony Joshua and Dillian White and Andy Ruiz, and the list goes on. That's what gives him the edge, in my opinion. Joe Joyce is big. He never backs down, and it's going to be a very, very tough fight. But Joseph Parker has been there, done it, worn the T-shirt, and is now an improved fighter, and is the fresher, in my opinion, the fresher fighter as well. So that's what makes it an interesting fight. We don't really know which way it's going to go. All I know is Joseph's done absolutely everything, and he's going to give his best performance we've ever seen on Saturday. And whether that's enough to beat Joe Joyce, we'll see.
Now, something that you would typically bring up in a Joseph Parker, Joe Joyce, but they mentioned the money in escrow and the financial states. I mean, what can you tell us about that? Because that seemed to come a little bit out of nowhere, really.
Look, first of all, I do not care about politics. I do not care about what promoters say about me and this and that. We try and just... I see it all the time, and I don't knock it, but when promoters are going at each other all the time, I always think in my position, how can that be good for my fighter? Because at some point, I'm going to need to be able to make a fight with another promoter. And so I'm trying to stay out of that stuff. Joseph Parker doesn't have a contract for this fight with Queensberry. We have a contract with this fight. He feels comfortable. We feel comfortable. The history between the Higgins camp and Adam and George has gone on, and everyone knows about it. It's not nice. It's messy. There's a lot of politics involved. I think the main concern for me is not the money. It's just making sure the judges are right, and it's making sure that this could go to points, and we want to make sure it's scored fairly and correctly. And I want to flag that now, because what we don't want is another situation like we had with Jack Cattrall.
How do you make sure that the judges are right and the right people are doing the job?
You know, we've got neutral judges in the contract. I think, look, I don't suspect any games going on and all this. It's just natural. We see it that many times. I'm not pointing the finger. I'm not blaming anyone. We're the away fighter. It's unusual for us because we've taken a fighter away from Sky. We're on BT. Absolutely fine. It's the fans fights want to see. That's all we care about. I have a good relationship with George. He's been fantastic to work with. For me, stuck to his word. Money's not going to be an issue. Let's make sure we have a fair fight. Let's make sure the correct winner has his hand raised at the end.
moving on to other events, and Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall obviously couldn't go ahead a couple of weeks ago, but very quickly rescheduled to the 15th of October. Is the excitement even greater now than it was then?
I mean, I was not looking forward to the day where this event had passed. This is special. We've not seen it before. We're not going to get it again for a long time. When do you see the biggest fight in women's boxing at the moment, with the second biggest fight in women's boxing, all on the same card, all the women's card, 100 countries broadcasting it? For me, it was almost coming to, like, I'm just glad that, and I want to thank the Boxer team and the Sky team, the decision was taken out of our hands, the way we've reacted, and the fighters. When do you ever see all the fighters, all the promoters, everything, keep the train on the track and recover it that quickly? We've got the O2 date, thank you to them as well. It's incredible. I don't think in the men's sport that happens, and we all know the politics involved and how much we wait for things, and if that fight was cancelled and it was that level of magnitude, I don't think it would happen. And fair play to the fighters, they've been professional. Fair play to all the promoters involved, they've helped us make sure that we get it on, and the O2, and that is the biggest feat that we've probably done as a promotional company, to be hit with that with 2 days to go to probably the biggest night we've ever had, and turn around the result that quickly. Boxing fans will be happy.
You say that may not have happened in the male sport. I mean, up at the top of the heavyweight division, you couldn't see a fight 2 days notice and then being rescheduled for 3 weeks later. Do you think something could be done about that? Why do you think the female fighters were so happy to turn it around?
And not to sound too over the top, but I think the female fighters are fighting for more than just themselves. There's not that many fights, and they know the importance of these rivalries and the importance of the nights, and they're ultimate professionals. They take it very, very seriously. When these guys started, there wasn't the sport there wasn't the opportunities, they were doing it just for the love. Anyone that's in the women's sport now that started when they started is doing it because they love boxing. Not because they want to make money, and not because, yes, of course, but not because the opportunity was there. They are so grateful that they're in a position now, and rightfully so, to be headlining the O2, being broadcast around the world. People are looking forward to that fight as much as any other fight this year, and that night. They don't want to lose that opportunity. They've worked too hard for that opportunity, and respect to them, massive respect that we've all kept it on, and they feel a sense of duty to the sport.
Superb. We look forward to Saturday night. Thank you very much for your time, Ben.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Thank you.